Hello and welcome to episode 13. Now this video was supposed to be part of the previous episode, however it became too long, so I decided to split it in two. In the previous episode I explained how to create an NFS share between OpenMediaVault and Docker VMs, and in this one I'm going to explain how to create an Immich instance with Portainer in a way that your photos and videos will be stored on your NFS share on your NAS, while your Immich database will live on the NVMe. Right, NFS share creation, files, permissions, we discussed them all, everything is covered, that is perfect. Now let's go ahead and create the Immich stack. I like creating services with stacks instead of using templates, Portainer templates, because then I have like finer control. And if we go into Immich documentation, if you go into Portainer, it is essentially telling you to go into the Portainer stacks, add stack, to give it a name. Let's go give it a name. Let's call it Immich_wife. All right. And then it tells you to download the Docker compose file from GitHub repository, replace .env with stack.env. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. And in the advanced mode to add your from the GitHub repository also to download example.env, copy its contents to advanced mode, and then change the default password, location, and etc. Yada, yada, yada. All right, I have already downloaded this file, so let me open it and paste it into my editor. All right, let's remove unnecessary portions. Name, I don't need anything. Let's add version of Docker Compose 3.8. And now services. Immich server, I'm going to keep it as is, but container name I'm going to change because I already have a container named Immich server, and I'm going to append wife to the end. Now, the version they wanted me to add via the environment file, but I will directly state the version that I want to use, and you can find the latest version by right-clicking on this link instead of like directly opening it, because if you click it, it's going to download. And let's remove this portion and go to latest, and the latest version is 2.4.1 at the moment. It's good that we are specifying a version and not using like latest, because in that case, if it like updates for some reason, some stuff at least can break, right? Now for volumes. For volumes, I'm going to use bind mount, but I'm going to name it as a regular volume, and I will specify the options for my bind mount at the end of the file. So let's go with Immich library wife, right? Local time, I'll keep it as is. Environment file, I'm gonna comment it for now, and I will add environments a bit later. For port, you can keep it as is, but I have to increment it by 1 because again, like 2283 is currently used by my other Immich instance. Depends on restart, health check. I'm going to keep it as is. For Immich machine learning, I'm going to again append wife to the container name. For version, I'm going to use v2.4.1. Nice. For volume model cache, I'm going to keep it as is, not going to touch it at all. Environment file again commented. Redis, let's name it append wife to the end of it. It's not using any volumes, not gonna touch it. Database container name, let's go with wife once more. And environment variables. Now let me copy the contents of this so you can see it as well, what is currently in the example environment file. Let's go into advanced mode. I'm not going to use it, I'm just using it to copy paste. So for database password, username, and database name, it's saying Immich Postgres. Let's just copy this and directly add the values here. Postgres, user, Postgres, and here Immich. All right. Database location, it would normally, again, grab it from the environment file, whereas I am going to hard code it into the file itself. And let's call this database underscore wife. And now I can start typing in the volume options, specifications. Let's go to stack and copy it from my existing instance, right? So let's just copy this whole section, Control C, and let's close it. I don't mistake it. Volumes, image library. The first one I named the first. It's not a volume, it's a bind mount, but kind of looks like a volume. Let's copy this. And it is mounted to mnt image library underscore wife. So this is where your photos and videos physically will be stored. So this is, I'm instructing it to save files to the NFS share to the NAS directly. And for the database, it is highly advised to use your NVMe instead of NAS for the database. So I am gonna keep it with, keep it in my NVMe. Let's copy database wife. Database wife. And now I need to create this directory, but instead of image, it's gonna be image wife. And the name of the, let's go with just database. Yeah. So let me copy this. Go to the terminal, Immich index. I like to keep all of my Docker bind mounts in the same directory, which is in my case opt Docker app data. And let's just do mk directory -p. I think it's capital P, maybe not capital P. So the parent directories are created as well. -p. We have image wife. If we go into image wife, we will see the database directory here as well. Perfect. Now, I'm not gonna use again these, but what I will do is I will copy it. Got it actually, and then I can remove the rest, and I can go back to simple because I'm not using environment files. Instead of it, I will just do environment. I'm gonna copy this and add it to the image machine learning because I don't know if it needs it. Probably does. Maybe yes, maybe no. But I will just in case add these environment variables there as well. And let's remove these lines, commented lines. All right. Hopefully, if we hit deploy the stack, it should work. Okay, let's go into image wife and wait until all the containers are up and running. I can see the port number. This is a good sign. Let's actually become a root user and go to mnt image library wife and see if the files have been created yet. So it started creating files and it is using svcnix temp as the user, but this is being translated from root into svcnix temp, right? Now what I can actually do, go into editor, come to services and tell it what user to use. User 3000, and let's update the stack. And you need to do it just for the server portion, server service, and not the rest. Right. So if now I remove the root squash and 3000 from this user, from this NFS share, it will still, Immich will still be able to read and write files from this NFS share because I specified the user in the Docker compose file. All right. Let's try it. Let's do 192.168.1.101. Voila. Welcome to Immich. Let's do get started. Add an admin email. Let's go with MHA and name. Let's do MHA. Sign up. And let's log in. All right, perfect. Theme, let's go with dark, not to burn our eyeballs. Language English. Optional features rely on external services, map and version check. Yeah, it's fine. Google Cast, I don't want to enable it at the moment. Let's go into storage templates. This one I might enable in the future when I make a video about Immich itself, but for now I'm just gonna go ahead. And Immich now is talking about a backup strategy of 3, 2, 1. Essentially, what Immich advises, and this is considered the best practice for most of the use cases, is to have in total 3 copies of your data. This includes 2 original files, like one of the file in your, let's say, working directory, then another copy in your backup directory, let's say the backup drive, which in my case is dev SDC on my NAS, and then one offsite copy, which can be in another physical location or on the cloud, right? Let's go to mobile apps. I'm not gonna install it now. Let's hit done. Perfect. Oh my, I realized that I hit pause on OBS and never unpaused it. But essentially what I did is I just created this masterpiece with Paint and I added it, I uploaded it to Immich to test and make sure that I can still write and read from the NAS share after telling Immich to use user 3000 and after removing the root squash and AnonID GID from the shared folder. And it worked. The file was uploaded, but in order to be able to show you that the file was uploaded, I then again went back into the shared folder and added this AnonID and an UID in root squash thingy into the shared folder, so I can just be able to like show it to you. And in any case, I will probably keep it here, but not for this user. This user I'm gonna, no, we don't need it for Immich library. Immich uses it anyways, and for whatever new container that I create, for whatever service that I create a shared folder that cannot use specific users, then I will add the root squash, right? But Immich can use 3000, so I guess I can remove this from here. Apply. Yes. Perfect. Okay, I think that's it for this episode. It's probably long already. To recap, what we did is we created a service user account on both VMs for Docker services to be able to write directly onto the NAS via NFS share. Then we created a shared directory for the NFS share. We talked about managing permissions, ownerships, and access control list to eliminate any issues with NFS and permissions. Then we enabled and created the NFS share, mounted the share on the Docker VM, which is next in my case. And then we made the mounting permanent, so it persists upon reboot. And lastly, we created an image stack and instructed it to use the NFS share for photo and video library. All the while, the database is being database information is being stored on the NVMe and not the NAS. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope to see you in the next one.